All right, let's open the briefing. We're going to do a tactical deep dive on the conquest of Gilneas. Now, we're not here to talk about morals. This is a military case study, plain and simple. We're looking at the strategies, controversial, yes, but incredibly effective, that turned a messy stalemate into a clear-cut win for the Forsaken.
And this really gets to the core of it all. To get this campaign, you have to think like the command staff. You have to see that the use of chemical agents wasn't just some random act of cruelty. No, it was a very specific solution to a very difficult military problem.
So what exactly was that problem? Well, it was the Gilnean problem. The initial invasion, with our standard tactics, it just slammed into a brick wall. The whole Forsaken war machine just stopped, dead in its tracks.
See, the very city itself was a weapon against us. You've got these tight corridors, these fortified buildings. The Gilneans knew their home turf like the back of their hand. Our siege engines, our massed infantry assault, it was all useless. Worse than useless, actually. It was a meat grinder, and we were losing troops for every inch of ground.
This right here, this table really shows you the tactical mismatch. Our whole doctrine was built for winning battles on open fields, but in Gilneas, we were facing urban ambushes and hit-and-run attacks. Every single one of our strengths just completely backfired. It was the wrong tool for the job. When your entire playbook is useless, you've got two choices: adapt or lose. Command knew we needed something new, something that didn't just counter the enemy's strengths, but bypass them completely. And that led to the alchemical solution, a total shift in strategy.
And here it is, the new plague. It is absolutely crucial to see this thing not just as a poison, but as a tactical tool. It was designed with a very specific purpose: to deny the enemy the very ground they were defending. It flows past walls, it seeps into buildings, it gets to the soldiers that conventional weapons could never touch.
So look at this. The plague solved every single problem the Gilneans threw at us. It took their greatest asset, the city itself, and turned it into a death trap. It wasn't just about killing them. It was about breaking them psychologically. It made their walls useless and made the very air they were breathing an enemy.
So you have the perfect weapon. What's next? You don't just dump it randomly. This wasn't about chaos. This was about precision. The plan was to weaponize the entire battlefield through a controlled phase saturation.
Make no mistake, this was military science. Our apothecaries weren't just chucking barrels over the walls. They were mapping blight spread, using wind patterns and the actual geography to cut off entire sections of the peninsula. They were creating toxic no-go zones that would funnel and trap the defenders exactly where we wanted them.
And you can see how methodical this was. Phase 1, hit the urban choke points, break up their formations. Phase 2, use the lay of the land to guide the spread, like a toxic river. And the final phase, total area denial. The Gilneans were left with a very simple choice: get out or suffocate. It was brutal, sure, but it was absolutely systematic.
And the result of this cold, calculated strategy, well, it was an undeniable, unqualified military victory. The stalemate wasn't just broken, it was shattered. The objective was taken.
I mean, this chart says it all, doesn't it? The conventional siege, you can see we were getting almost nowhere, just bleeding troops for nothing. But the moment the alchemical strategy was deployed, campaign effectiveness shoots through the roof. The numbers don't lie.
And in the end, it all comes down to a single number: 1. Not a partial victory, not some negotiated truce. A total forced surrender of all enemy forces. The primary strategic objective was met, period.
So let's wrap up this debriefing. The evidence is conclusive. From a purely operational view, deploying the new plague wasn't just a factor in the victory, it was the decisive factor. It was a masterclass in unconventional warfare.
Which leaves us with this final, lingering question. When a military action is horrifyingly brutal, but it achieves its objective with near-perfect efficiency, what do you call it? Cruelty or strategic genius? That's the complicated truth behind the battle for Gilneas.